game driver for the next 2 weeks on a photo safari through the Harambe Wildlife Preserve. 2 things to caution about before we get started here. Number 1, you must remain seated at all times, hands and feet inside the truck. And number 2, hang on to your cameras and all your valuables. I'm not allowed to stop to pick up anything. Photos outside of the truck now that we've started. Now, the reserve was actually founded in 1971 in order to protect the wildlife in this area. We have been successful with that. We're very proud of the work we're doing. However, we still do have a problem from time to time with poachers. They primarily go after our elephants for their ivory tusks, but they also go after our rhinoceros for their horns. So we do have game wardens.
So once again, jump
who patrol the 800 square miles of reserve by foot, by road, and by air. In fact, I'm required to check in with the airborne wardens before we enter the reserve.
So once again,
we're going to be doing that here
might have to wait just a little longer, then we're going to head out on our way.
All right, we're cleared to enter the reserve. I'm going to check in with the airborne wardens. Airborne control is the Simba 1. Over.
Simba 1. This is Warthogs Wilson Mutua. Over.
Roger Wilson, this is Simba 1. We're headed into the reserve at Little Eatery Forest. Over.
I'm Jambu, Simba 1. Keep your eyes open and drive carefully. You should see lots of animals.
We're going to keep our eyes open. All right, beautiful dark brown animal here, white stripes across its rump and on its legs. That is an Okapi. A lot of people confuse the Okapi with a zebra, and it's because of the stripes. But they're not actually in the zebra family at all. In fact, they're the only known close relative of the giraffe. And they live right here in the forest. Now, if we're really lucky while we're here in the forest, we may see black rhinoceros. We're going to have to be lucky, however. They're one of the more endangered species in Africa. And there's only about 4,200 of them left in all of Africa. We've got a white bird coming up ahead here with a little bit of black trim, red forehead. They're yellow-billed storks. They eat small fish, frogs, lizards, snakes. They'll even eat other small birds if they can get a hold of them. Yellow-billed storks. There's a black rhinoceros laying. There's a black rhinoceros laying all the way back there by the rocks, right in front of those trees. The black rhinoceros. We've got another one right here. The black rhinoceros may look indestructible. And actually, I think they probably should be. Their skin varies from 1 to 4 inches in thickness, and they can charge at up to 35 miles an hour. They are tanks. The only problem they have is they're very nearsighted. They can only see about 30 or 40 feet in front of them, and that leaves them very vulnerable to poaching, I'm afraid. All right, this is a tough one. But there's a light brown animal with white stripes laying back up there right at the crest of the hill. You might see it as we go by here. It's a greater kudu. Greater kudu, there's another one laying right there. They're on the other side of this brush, all the way at the top of the ridge. Greater kudu, second largest antelope in Africa. A male can get up to 750 pounds. They've got long, curling horns. Black and white bird all the way back up the draw here. It's a saddle-billed stork. Tallest storks in Africa. They get up to 5 feet tall. Wingspan, 8 to 9 feet. Beautiful, beautiful birds. All right, now shortly, we're going to be heading down towards the Safi. And Safi River is home to the Nile hippopotamus. The Nile hippopotamus are going to spend most of their time in the water during the day, cooling off their heat-proofed bodies. After all, a male can get up to 5,000 to 6,000 pounds. Got one up here in the water. Now the Nile hippopotamus can spend up to 5 to 8 minutes underwater before they have to surface to breathe, and they can surface at any time. You want to be ready for that in case that should happen. Water means life to the Nile hippopotamus. They cannot survive the day without it. Therefore, they will defend it fiercely. They're also highly unpredictable animals. For those reasons, actually, they're considered to be quite dangerous. The black white-breasted cormorant, diving and fishing birds. The gray birds are pink-backed pelicans. They're very social birds. And they'll work together to herd the fish in the shallow water where they want to feed. Now the Nile hippopotamus are resting right now, and they will be resting all day, but they will leave the water tonight because that's when they feed, and they can eat up to 100 to 150 pounds of grass every night. All right, now when we get up to this rickety old bridge here, you want to look down here on the driver's side. These are Nile crocodiles. Now, Nile crocodiles are much larger and more aggressive than the American alligator. And they can grow up to 18 to 20 feet long. They got a biting pressure of 1,200 pounds per square inch. And they can leave the water and drag down a fully grown 2,500 pound giraffe. Now, when they bite down on something, they're not going to let go. So I think maybe we should keep right on going. Roger Wilson, go ahead, over.
Just wanted to let you know that my ground patrol has seen a lot of elephant activity near the Red Clay Pit. You definitely want to check out that area.
Roger Wilson, we'll head that way later. Thanks for the tip. Now you see, sometimes it's good to have an island guy like Wilson. Give us some animal spotting tips like that. The tree here on the pasture side is a baobab tree. These trees are so slow growing they can actually live to be over 2,000 years old. We think this one's close to 2,000 years old. We also call it the upside down tree, and it's because of the branches. People think they look like roots going up rather than down. Thus the name, the upside down tree. Now when we get around the corner here, we're going to have one of the finest views of the African Savannah. We're going to have an entire 2-week safari. This is the Serengeti grassland system, and it stretches for hundreds of miles across East Africa. Wildebeest and zebras will migrate across it annually. Elephants, lions, antelope, and giraffe, they all live here year-round. All part of the wild Africa. We are working so hard to save. Very large antelope you see out here are Patterson's elands. Elands are the largest antelope in the world. Pattersons are not the largest of the elands, but they can get up to 2,000 pounds, 6 feet tall at the shoulders, which I think is probably big enough. Patterson's elands. Now the grasslands you see around you have actually been shaped by many of the animals that live here. Elephants will bulldoze down the trees like the ones you see coming up ahead here on the pasture side. And the elephants will actually eat the bark for its moisture content when it gets dry here. That allows the grasslands to maintain their margins. The giraffes, we got some giraffes coming up ahead here. They come through here, they eat everything below 14 feet. Trim it right on off. That allows the sunlight to filter through. And then of course your grass can grow. Your zebras and your larger antelope, like the Patterson's elands, prefer this taller, coarser grass on the driver's side, and they'll mow it right on down. Then your little nibblers, the Tommies and the Warthogs, well, they trim up the edges. Nature's plan to provide food for all here on the Savannah. We've got 2 different types of giraffes coming up ahead here. The reticulated giraffe, or the larger of the two. They have a much larger pattern on their coats. In fact, they get their name from the Latin word reticulata, which means net. And it's meant to describe the net-like pattern on their coats. Now, a giraffe can eat for up to 18 to 20 hours a day. They are eating machines. And they only need to sleep 5 to 30 minutes a night. That's it, 5 to 30 minutes. The rest of the time they're eating, digesting their food, or just looking out for predators. Now that's a mommy, it's a female. Reticulated giraffe. This is a Maasai giraffe coming up ahead here. They're smaller in stature. They're not as old, but they're not babies by any means either. Now, the Maasai giraffe have a much darker coat, more condensed pattern, and a more leaf-like pattern. On both sides of the truck right now, we've got termite mounds, and they are as hard as concrete. So hard, in fact, that elephants will actually use them for scratching posts. when they wear one down like that one on the passenger side with a little Tommy, or perhaps even an Impala. Get up on top and look out over all this tall grass for any sign of a lion or a cheetah. Maasai giraffe and reticulated giraffe. New Zealand's have beat us over here. They're still coming through the trees back here. The dark brown animal back here underneath the trees, slain in the grass. These are sable antelope, beautiful, beautiful animals, but highly aggressive. You do not want to be on the ground with those animals. Their horns can get up to 50 to 60 inches long. And I'll tell you, they know how to use them. Patterson Zealands. And the small brown animal out here with a black stripe just above their white belly, those are Tommies. Thompson's gazelles. The Tommies may look like babies, but they're not babies, they're full-grown adults. They only get to be about 50 to 60 pounds. Gray shaggy animals coming up ahead here on the driver's side underneath the trees. And there's one out here as well. The gray shaggy animals are white-bearded wildebeest. Now the white-bearded wildebeest migrate across here in numbers up to 1.5 million animals, which is the largest land migration of any animal left on Earth. Also known as the gnu, that's spelled G-N-U. It's meant to describe the grunting sound they make. There's a young sable antelope right there, and that's the daddy that's laying over there, the black one. There's another young sable antelope here. The grayish-brown animal over there is a waterbuck. The waterbuck gets its name because you always find them close to the water. They use the swampy margins of lakes and rivers to escape from predators, primarily cheetahs and lions. The cattle are ankole, also known as Watusi cattle. Their horns can get to 5 to 6 feet long, 20 inches in circumference at the base, like the massive horns on the bull there. All right, now we're going to be heading into elephant country here. You want to be on the lookout for elephants.
This is Wilson. What is your location? Over.
Wilson, we're at Monkey Point. Over.
Keep your eyes open for me. We picked up a baby elephant that was wandering off on its own. We can't find
Oh boy.
I'm afraid pregnant baby in the window.
Roger Wilson, we'll keep our eyes open. That doesn't sound good at all, folks. It does sound like we've got poachers in the reserve. I tell you, baby elephants don't just wander off on their own. They're never far from their mothers or their aunties. We have some monkeys sitting back here in the trees, under the tree, on the rocks here in the trees. These are mandrills. Mandrills, the alpha male of our mandrill troop, can get up to 5,100 pounds. They're the largest monkeys in the world, and they all have blue and red markings on their faces. All right, now let me see if I can find some music on this radio of mine. Sometimes actually we can pick up the Harambe station out here. Oh yes, actually I like that. Oh no, the road is closed. Now this is the road we normally take to the red clay pits. But it's all been washed out by the rain we've had here. We're certainly not going that way today. Or anytime soon for that matter. I'm sorry, I'm very sorry, but I'm just not that familiar with this road. We're taking around this Polly, as Wilson would say. Oh no! I remember now why we don't use this road. It's so bridge. It's all rusted through. Let me turn off the radio here, folks.
All right, here.
All right, now here's the situation. We can't go back. You saw the road was out. We're going to have to try this. I want everybody to cross your fingers for me back there and hang on. Hang on tight. Oh boy, I don't like this at all. Lead right, everybody, lead right. Lead right. Woo! I do see what Wilson was talking about here. There's a lot of evidence of elephant activity. Tusk marks and footprints on both sides of the truck. We've got 2 calves right here. These are calves. Now, an adult elephant can eat up to 300 pounds of vegetation a day, but they don't get all the minerals and nutrients they need from that vegetation. So they'll dig the clay out back there with their tusks, and they'll eat it for its mineral content. And that's the way they balance their diets. There's a baby, about a year old. Now, elephant herds are made up entirely of females and their calves. Bull elephants neither join herds nor do they form them. They tend to be solitary creatures. Yeah, she's about 12 months old, just about a year old.
Michael, do you need me to get it?
Now, she'll nurse until she's about 3 years old, and she'll stay with her mother until she's 13 to 16 years old. And that's the second longest childhood in the animal world. The longest childhood, well, of course, that belongs to humans. Now, these are greater flamingos. Lightest pink of their species. And they get that beautiful pink color from the carotene. That's the vitamin A in the shells of the shrimp and the shellfish they eat. Carotene, that's the same thing our fingernails are made out of. Also our hair, rhinoceros horn, all made out of carotene. You wouldn't think it would turn anything pink, but, well, it turns that pink. They don't get that beautiful full pink coloring, however, until they're almost 2 years old. And they had to eat a lot of little tiny brine shrimp before that happened for them. Now we got an ostrich nest coming up ahead here. Now to call it a nest, well, it's not much of a nest. All the ostrich does is rearrange the dirt a little bit. However, the eggs, you gotta give them credit for the eggs. The eggs are the largest eggs laid by any bird in the world. These eggs can get 2 to 3 pounds each. White rhinoceros. White rhinoceros, quite a bit larger than the black rhinoceros we saw back in the forest. They can get up to 5,000 pounds. Black rhinoceros go on top of the scales at about 3,000 pounds. White rhinoceros, one of our great success stories here in Africa. They were on the brink of extinction just a little bit over 100 years ago. Since that time, we've increased their numbers on their protection reserves. They can now sustain themselves in the wild. It's a great, great conservation story.
I see you at the junction. I suggest you go west. It will be worth it.
Roger Wilson, we'll head west. Cheetahs. They're laying back up here in the corner, right by the tree line. Cheetahs. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals on Earth. And they can reach speeds of 60 to 70 miles an hour. They're the only big cats, right back here in the corner. They're the only big cats that hunt predominantly during the daytime. They got the eyesight to do that. The others hunt primarily at night. They're going to hunt by smell, not by sight. Beautiful cats. All right. Now these are the Okapis coming up ahead here, and that's a generic term for these rocky outcroppings. They are an important animal habitat, especially for the lions. Now unfortunately I can't guarantee anything with lions. They are inactive 18 to 20 hours a day. They store up energy during the day for the very energy intense hunt at night of about 4 to 5 hours. Their survival depends on the success of the hunt. I don't think we could really blame them if they might be asleep right now or maybe even out of sight. We're going to keep our eyes open for them. And anyway, there's one. That's one of our elderly gentlemen. The animals here with the corkscrew horns, these are addax. Addax are actually a desert antelope, and they can go indefinitely without drinking water. There's that lion. He's sound asleep. Sound asleep. He's one of our elderly gentlemen. Lions' manes get darker with age, and his is almost black in color. Yeah, he had a rough night watching the females hunt for him. Yeah. Got all tired out. Yeah. These look like warthog burrows coming up ahead here. You want to keep your eyes open for warthogs. They're the largest burrowing animals in Africa. And they'll bank into these burrows and defend themselves from the tusks. Yeah, we got one in the burrow right here. Now the upper tusks are dull. They use those for burrowing. It's the lower tusks you have to worry about. They are razor sharp. Got an ostrich coming across here. They can run it up to 40 miles an hour. That's a male. And the white animal here with the brown chest, scimitar horned oryx. They get their name from the scimitar sword from the Middle East. Broad curved sword describes the shape of their horns quite nicely. Dark brown animal with the white face and white rump, or bontebok. The bontebok have been hunted almost to extinction in the wild, but we're hoping for their future. We're increasing their numbers under protection reserves across Africa.
There are poachers in the area. Can you help us cut them off?
What do you say, folks? You want to help Wilson catch those poachers? Yeah. Wilson, you can count on it. Wilson, we're at the crossroads. Oh, and the gates have been smashed through. Now, these gates are always kept locked because they lead outside the reserve. Only poachers would cause victims like this. We're going to have to follow. Hang on.
Poachers are heading east. Keep going, and you drive them to my patrol. Over.
Roger Wilson, we're on our way. We're headed into the Magadi Gorge here, folks. All part of the Great Rift Valley here in East Africa. These are hot springs. We're headed into it. All right, now, hot springs or not, actually, I think we should try to get out of here as quickly as possible. Woo-hoo! Poachers camp ahead here. Oh, and they have been busy. Airborne control, this is Hippo 1. I'm afraid we missed the poachers. Camp is deserted.
Oh, not to worry. You drop them right
That's what we wanted to hear, Wilson. We got them, folks. We got them.
The poachers right, but they will get caught. It's okay that the mother get us back. Thanks to you, they are now both safe. Asante sana everyone.
Well, thank you, Wilson. That is great news.
I have to go now. We have to get this baby elephant back to its mother.
Roger Wilson. We'll try to catch you next time. Oh, a big thank you. Asante sana to all of you folks back there for helping us chase down the poachers and saving the elephants. Great job. Now, unfortunately, I have some bad news for you also. Remember I said we had to go outside the reserve in order to catch the poachers? Well, we're just re-entering the reserve now. Now, whenever we have to leave the reserve like that, I'm afraid I'm required to drop you the wardens post up here. That means I'm going to have to cut our 2-week safari just a little short. Regulations, folks, there's nothing I can do about it. Now, we don't like saying goodbye here in Harambe. What we do say is Kwaherini, and that means go well. Can you say Kwaherini? Kwaherini, everyone. Did you have a great safari? Yeah. Well, thank you. Come back again anytime. One thing I can promise.